Greetings, dearest YouTube viewer. At your request, I will now attempt to share knowledge that I have got from my visions regarding third secrets of Fatima, the very prediction that Catholic Church strictly harboring. But before talking about what I've seen, I will read these predictions that Catholic Church has already presented to people, and point out discrepancy that lies in text. These are clear, it's not necessary to prove it. Discrepancy is visible to the naked eye, and I can show you this, but first let me read for you those visions that was performed to young kids, those visions that we have experienced. I shall read it for you in sequence from first to third, adding my opinion. The first secrets of Fatima. During first revelation, kids saw horrible pictures of hell, where souls of sinners will be forward to. The Holy Virgin approached to kids and said, "The First World War is coming to an end, but if people do not stop offending God, then another war will start, even worse than Pew's time. When you will see that the gloom of night is illuminated by mysterious light as day, be aware that this great sign was given to you by God, that He intends to punish the world for its crimes." The second secret of Fatima. When you will see that the gloom of night is illuminated by mysterious light as day, be aware that this great sign was given to you by God, to punish the world for its crimes. To prevent this, I came to ask you to dedicate Russia to my heart, and the atoning sacraments every first Saturday of the month. You should heed to me, and Russia turns to God. Russia will keep making mistakes around the whole world, provoking war and persecution of church in case of ignoring my message to you. There is a reference here to communist ideology and the imposition of this ideology on the whole world. That actually happened. It's a real applied from the standpoint of the Vedic scriptures that atheism is considered to be worst kind of karma. It can't get worse than this. Murders, terrible sins, they are not as terrible as incredulity, lack of faith. Therefore, the karma of atheism is the worst. But the whole our country was like that. In fact, we're all atheists, we're all kids of atheists, and now we're trying to come back to faith, to spiritual tradition. Dishonest spread all over the earth. Many nations will be destroyed. When you will see that the gloom of night is illuminated by mysterious light as day, be aware that this great sign was given to you by God, that He intends to punish the world for its crimes. To prevent this, I came to ask you to dedicate Russia to my heart, and the atoning sacraments every first Saturday of the month. You should heed to me, and Russia turns to God. Russia will keep making mistakes around the whole world, provoking war and persecution of church in case of ignoring my message to you. The righteous become a martyr. The Holy Father will suffer a lot, and entire nations will be destroyed. And the third secret of Fatima. Please note, how are the first two prophecies, the first two predictions of Fatima performed? They are performed at the Holy Virgin's speech. The Mother of God gives instructions. But the third prediction that the Catholic Church has concealed is written in completely different style. If there is a further narrative from another person, written from completely different speaker. The Virgin doesn't tell us. Now you'll hear it. The Holy Father, the other bishops, priests, believing men and women climbed up a steep mountain on top of which there was a large cross of rough-hewn trunks of a cork tree. Before reaching the summit, Holy Father walked past a large city half in ruins, stumbling gait, suffering from a pain over the tribulation. He prayed for souls of dead, whom he met on his way. Having reached the top of mountain, on his knees, at the foot of a large cross, he was killed by a group of soldiers who shot bullets and arrows to him. At the same time, in the same way, there died other bishops, one after another, priests, believing men and women, and other laymen of different rank and position. That's all. It's a short text. In fact, it's even smaller than the second prediction. In general, the third prediction mentioned the Holy Father and the bishops, apparently the same Holy Father who is mentioned in the second prediction. Most likely there is a connection between these predictions. But the strange fact is that the third prediction is not given as a narrative or blessing of the Holy Virgin itself. Even that, the first two predictions are performed in this way. The third, it seems to fall out. There is no logical conclusion. That is, be aware, the first two are stories about wars, and the third completely falls out of the logical chain. The sequence as such is essentially known. We can say that the third prediction is written by common man. The logical outcome of what was said in the second and the end of the second prediction. Holy Father is mentioned, and someone else will already adjust this prediction for what purpose is unknown. We will not give an assessment, but in my opinion there is some mistake. The third prediction, it is either incomplete. We were not given no full explanation which part is possibly hidden. Either this part of the text does not have any relation with the third prediction of Fatima. I will tell my vision, which is also the answer of the third prophecy. And if, for example, we compare the first and second prediction of Fatima, then let's say my vision is the logical extension, although I explored this topic after I received question at YouTube. I looked through the contents of this prediction. I looked first with my spiritual vision. I had a vision, and then I started digging through the internet, trying to find the text of this prediction. In one of the articles I found it, copied, and I will read to you. But my vision corresponds to the first and second prediction, since it is a logical continuation, since in the second prediction it said that the Virgin will pray and will try to beg for Russia's fate. Then in my vision I saw the territory of Russia and the western part. But I stood and looked at Russia itself. My eyes looked up into sky. I looked at the sky. The sky was clear. And at some point, the sky began to manifest a certain structure. I would call it a flying spaceship. But this is not a quiet flying ship in terms of UFO or other civilizations. Similar ships are more described in the Vedic scriptures. They change the heavenly chariots when the whole platform moves in the direction where the thoughts of the man who control this ship move. And on this ship sat a man on a large throne. I saw the vision from a greater distance. I didn't see notable features, but I knew who it was for sure. In the center of the ship sat the creature of that person who will be known at the second rising, and he was surrounded by a huge amount of people. They surrounded him. They were in different clothes, but they were in clean clothes. Some in pink shades, some in light green shades, some in golden shades. Very beautiful shades. They weren't just white clothes, but such heavenly tones, very beautiful. And at the same time, the second rising, the Son of Man, sat on the throne, ruled this ship, and he was very large. And I'm in sufficient degree, I saw this ship. I saw how from the prostration I had a feeling as if it were someone who wanted to show an answer to my inner question. First, I was given a review of the central throne place with the second rising, and themselves by the people who surrounded it, and then from space around the second above the advent began to appear first dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of such ships. But they were smaller, they were also cosmic. I can't say that these were metal structures. They were erroneous substances. They allowed them to travel through the worlds, through universes. very beautiful ships. They looks like mystical constructions. And on these ships, hundreds of thousands of ships were also people. And when I saw these innumerable numbers of heavenly ships, I realized that was an army. They were all strict. Inside themselves they were disciplined. They were strict. All these people were good. And all these people were the army of the second rising. The view was interesting. And the most interesting thing was that it descended on Russia. It was coming to Russia. Number 4 sounded in my head. These 4 years, maybe in 4 years there will be some signs. I won't tell you it's true. I can make a mistake. You understand that I'm a common man. Many knowledge is not available to me. One way or another, there was number 4. It repeatedly flashed in my meditation. Well, this is just one element. The second element, which I would like to draw attention to, didn't see sign that would indicate the connection between second rising and our Orthodox Church. That is, it doesn't appear in the midst of the Orthodox people. It somehow comes from outside. This is second element. The third element that I would like to draw attention, what I saw is the spiritual sense of this person. On earth, he appears in completely different way, and it can be seen only by such spiritual sight. Spiritual vision will be seen at the second rising, but it will not be seen by common eyes. You know, when I look at this army and everything that happened, I also constantly keep in mind this quote from Revelation, which I subsequently found. I'll read it to you. There was a phrase, sitting on the cloud. On the other hand, I thought that I was probably mistaken, and that I saw that the second rising sat on the throne on some kind of mystical ship, and the prediction that he said he must appear on the cloud is a different matter. But on the other hand, if we analyze the situation, people who saw spiritual side, they would hardly be able to explain what they saw. Imagine, 2000 years ago, no one knows what flying ships are, and when such a person sees such mystical events, either to bring us a cloud, similar ships can be seen as clouds. I try to convey my knowledge. This time, secondly, somewhere else I read on the internet the indication that where the coming of the third comes, he appears to be sitting on the clouds. Friends, before he comes, we must see all the other previous signs. When the angels appear to cure ulcers, the demons go out from the seas, and they will have the name of blasphemers, 7 enemies, and 10 lips, and all that stuff. You see, if we want to see the second rising sitting on cloud, we must see all the previous signs, spiritual. If we do not see these signs, then we don't see the second rising sitting on the cloud. They are astral images. These images will be spiritual. If you analyze the experience of Daniel or John, the theologian, what they saw, experienced this state during prayer or during a trance state, it was not a visual experience, as in our case. They didn't see by human eye. This state of spiritual liberation had a vision. In other words, in my material world, the phenomenon will be different. That's how I can tell. I didn't see, but with regard to the fact that the third prediction of Fatima must bear another sense and a deeper meaning. Most likely, the Catholic Church was worried. They scornfully treat the Eastern Church. To the Orthodox, who are known as Orthodox Church. On the other hand, for these two is a blow of a wound, since the Lord will not appear, not to accept their service, will not honor this church, but to appear in some wild Russia, with its barbaric views of orthodoxy. To some extent, Europe is like this. What is Russia? It's a wild brown bear who sometimes wakes up and can break these whole relations to Russia. It's a little exaggerated. You understand what I mean. But somehow tradition are the right glory. They have their own opinion of their attitude, but we don't put assessment in anyone. Don't try to evaluate someone's church and them humiliate. I just share the experience of that when stand at stake. See you next time.